Gentlemen, Rex Steeman is here with us. He is the ARRL Emergency Coordinator for the Ohio section. And we are pleased that he chose to drive 2 hours just to be with us. So let's give him a round of applause. Brett, I'm going to drink my beer and you take it away.
You go right ahead and drink your beer. Thanks everybody for having me this evening. I really appreciate it, and I'm grateful that you guys have invited me up, and it's a pleasure. And I just got asked to go to Summit County sometime in the near future to give a presentation as well. I've been to Portage County and I've been to several ham fests. So enough about that. Let me get started with this here. And as Craig said, I'm the Ohio Section Emergency Coordinator for ARES, and that's one of the things we're going to talk about this evening, maybe. There we go. So quickly about me, I reside in Lincoln County. I was first licensed in 2012. August, I upgraded to general class, and then in October 2012, I became a VE and worked closely with the local club down in Lincoln County, the Silvercreek Amateur Radio Association. May of 2022, after 10 years, I decided to go for my extra class, and I finally got it. I got interested and joined Lincoln County ARES in May of 2012, and that was interesting because in June of 2012, that's when the derecho came through. I was fresh, brand new member of ARES, and guess what? I ended up being net control for over 12 hours in Lincoln County because of the derecho. I became an AEC net manager in 2012. 2015, I became the EC for Lincoln County. 2018, I became an assistant DEC for District 7, while remaining the EC of Lincoln County. 2022, I replaced Mark, KB8YNM, which is now a silent key as the District 7 DEC. And before he passed away in January, I was actually covering for him for 6 months. He was part of Task Force 1, and then he became really ill, and I was doing all of his work for him anyway. So it was a pleasure to take over for him. 2022, Stan Broadway called me up and said, "Hey, I'm retiring. I want you to take over." I said, "I'm honored. Thank you very much, but I'm not ready for it." He says, "Yeah, you are." He says, "I've been grooming you, and you didn't even know it." And I ended up taking it. But back up just a little bit, in 2021, he called me and says, "I want you to take over for him." And I laughed at him. I said, "Nah, you're just bluffing." So anyway, that's how I became the SEC for Ohio. I'm enjoying every minute of it. I love getting out and talking with groups like you guys here, guys and gals. It's a pleasure, and it's really great to be able to go to Hamfest and meet up with ECs, AECs, and so forth, and just the regular ARES members and hams. So what we're going to talk about tonight is mainly ARES. Okay, that's what I was asked to talk about. But are we who we say we are, or what we say we are, or are we a bunch of old farts?
Can't you be both?
Sure, why not? Yes, you can.
All right.
So basically, are we prepared? Is our family safe? Number one. I don't care what the situation is. Family first, family safe before you go anywhere. Do you have enough, is your radios ready? Do you have antennas and batteries? Can we set up a station for parts? pieces and parts? Do we know who we are? Do we know who our contacts are? And whom do we call? When I mean by contacts, your EMA director, your health department director, hospital, Red Cross, and so forth. Very important to have. And are we familiar with our agencies like I just mentioned? Those were just a few of the agencies that we deal with as ARES members. There's also 211, Salvation Army, just to name a couple others. So what is ARES? First of all, here's a field organizational chart. We can start out with the national level up at the top. Then we come down to the section level, and then down to an assistant section emergency coordinators, down to districts, then down to the local levels. And then from there to your AECs, your assistant emergency coordinators. I believe District 10, Matt, how many AECs do you guys have up there?
Well, so every county has individual AECs. We have 3 assistant DECs as well.
Okay. So on the local level, Doug and can have as many AECs that he feels fit. I'm sorry, Ken. Ken, yes. Ken can have as many AECs as he feels that he needs. And that's their prerogative, their choice. Matt is a DEC up in District 10. He can have as many DECs as he wants, that he feels he needs. Me as a section emergency coordinator, I can have as many assistants that I feel I need to have. So what is amateur radio? Amateur radio operators are used their training skills and equipment to provide communications during emergencies when all else fails. I know most of you know all of this stuff. I'm just kind of giving you a refresher as far as some of this goes. We serve our communities when storms or other disasters. And I can tell you for a fact, several years ago, I was running net control for a severe thunderstorm coming through Lincoln County. Our normal check-ins for a severe thunderstorm would be somewhere around 20 to 30. That day, we had non-ARES members checking in, offering to help, because we had power outages and trees down and all that stuff. We had 75 people check in to that net that evening. And that's amazing. And I really appreciated that. So people will come out of the woodwork, so to speak, to offer to help. We thank you guys very much for offering to help. But when it comes to being deployed and so forth, that's up to the local EC. So everybody counts when it comes to a natural disaster. Look at what happened to the flooding down in the Carolinas. People were picking up ham radios down there and doing what they could via ham radio. Even though they weren't ham radio operators, the FCC wasn't going to do anything about it because it was natural.
Hey, Brad, I got a question.
Yes.
You used to have some of the FEMA training
Yes.
before you could even think about being deployed. Is that still the case?
That is highly, highly recommended, and it's also up to the local EC.
Okay.
Now, if somebody has experience that does not have their FEMA courses, that say, let's just say has in the past operated in an EOC, but does not have any FEMA courses, and the EMA manager is okay with that person being in the EOC, then that's fine. Because it's happened down in Licking County. So, but we highly recommend that you at least have your 4 NIMS courses. there again, everybody knows that we can set up a radio anyplace, anywhere, quickly. And we don't have to have commercial power, a battery. Your battery out of your vehicle, obviously. Hams can quickly, there again, raise a wire antenna in a tree or on a mast. The Amateur Radio Emergency Service consists of licensed amateurs who have voluntarily registered their qualifications and equipment for the local areas. Do you have to have a bunch of equipment to be an Aries member? No. And I'll go over some more of that here later on. Aries membership requirements. Every amateur ham radio operator licensed is eligible to be an Aries member. You can just got your tech license and have an HT. You're eligible to become an Aries member. That's up to you. That's up to the individual. It doesn't take much. Training may be required, like we just talked about, and or desired to participate fully in Aries. That would be up to the local ECs. And actually, like I said earlier, to operate in an EOC or at the Red Cross or whatever, those agencies may require the minimum of the 4 NIMs. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Because Aries is an amateur radio program, only licensed radio operators are only have to be eligible for membership. So the local Aries group team members Ken and Doug are the ECs, obviously, for the local counties around here. They can pick people to become net control stations. They can decide on who's going to be a backup net control station, and so forth. Now, we talked about AECs. When I first became an AEC, I was a net manager. I took care of all the nets, whether it's a practice net, severe weather net, or whatever. I was the one in charge. As a net manager, I went out and recruited people to help run the nets. So I'm not the one running it every week or every other week or whenever. We rotated shifts. Although Licking County does it twice a month, I might do it 1 month, somebody else might, or 1 week, somebody else would do it the 3rd week, and so forth. Then we do a full rotation. Somebody might be a technical specialist as an AEC. This is just a few of the things that an AEC could be appointed for, so that the EC is not doing everything on their own. A couple other things that an AEC can do. Official emergency station, generator power safety, record keeping, database administrator, and so forth. Exercise coordinator, that is a good one to have an AEC for. So if anybody's good at coordinating or creating exercises for the local counties or whoever, wherever you're at, step up. Tell your EC, hey, I'd be interested in becoming an AEC. I'll plan some exercises for you. Great opportunity. That will also keep your group engaged and interested. The slower the group is, obviously, the people may not be as engaged, unfortunately. So here's some other things. There again, emergency nets, HF nets, NTS. How many people are part of NTS in here? Regularly does national traffic system? Locally or on HF? Nobody? Okay. That is a great opportunity to start passing messages, practice passing messages, either between two counties, within the county, or across the United States. Because when it comes down to an emergency situation and your EMA director or somebody wants to get a message out to a family, that's a good way to do it, especially when phone lines are down in the county. National traffic. The folks down in the Carolinas during the flood, that's how they got information out, through the traffic system, and it works. So there again, this is stuff that you could be involved with. This picture right here is actually a net at the Sarge, W8SGT in Columbus at the Ohio EMA. That is Richard, KD8 GHP. He's running the station for, we were doing an exercise that day for the Davis-Bessie drill. Oh, Skywarn is another thing. Do you guys have a Skywarn net that happens during, how often, do you guys do warnings, just warnings? Or do you maybe start monitoring during watches?
They'll bring the net up during a watch.
Okay, good. So, I know I'm kind of going through this a little quick, but as an Aries member, this right here is some of the training. The top 3 is the new stuff that came out by the ARRL. Is it mandatory? No. Is it highly recommended? Yes. The nice thing about the MCOM is they are PDF files. You log into your account, you go into the classes, and you can download each module under basic. And then if you're decent with computers, you can take each one of those PDF modules and combine them all into one. Study at your leisure. When you think you're ready, go online, take the test. It's an open book test. Okay, so you can have your PDF open and kind of flip, if you get stuck on a question, flip through your PDF, find the answer, mark it, move on. It's an open book test, just like the VEs. The advanced has not been released yet. They're hoping, again this summer. Of course, they said that last year, but they're waiting on final approval because they went back in and made some changes to the advanced. How many of you have done net control, one way or another? Was it for Skywarn or was it for just a local net? Skywarn. Okay. Those of you that are experienced, my recommendation would be, if you're having problems or having a hard time getting net control operators for whatever, practice Aries nets, for an example. Have them do a net, just a regular practice net, like in Licking County. I'm sorry if I keep coming back to Licking County, but in Licking County we have 2 nets a month, and we call those basically practice nets. And we have some training, but and we talk about what's coming up and so forth. But one of the things that we have done is we have asked people to become net control operators. We have a script that they can download. Listen to the net for a while. Listen how things, the net is run. Download the net, practice off the air, and then volunteer to run the net one evening, whether it's an Aries net or a local plug net. Those are great ways to practice to become net control. And you can count that as training hours for the local county. okay? Don't be afraid to become net control because you never know. The regular net control operators might be out of town or not be able to fire up the radio. Who's going to run a severe weather net when nobody else is around? Okay? That's why I believe strongly in net control operators, net control training. There again, that could be an AEC net manager doing the training and recruiting net control operators. SETs, a field day, and local and state drills and tests. I've got some ideas in my head. I know you're thinking, oh geez, he's got some ideas, but I was thinking about this on the way up. I'm not going to reveal them yet, but the SET is a great time to get people in the air. Practice simplex communications within the county between, say, an EOC and throughout the county or counties. Make contact with adjacent counties, your neighboring counties. Great time to do that. That's an awesome time. Obviously, field day. Invite your local leaders, your county commissioners, people in high places for the county. Invite them up to field day because you get points for that. And not only that, but if you draw people in, it's going to get more than likely get people interested in amateur radio because you set them down on the radio and let them talk outside the state of Ohio. Good way to encourage people to get their license. What should you bring? Obviously, you have a go kit. If you don't have a go kit, you would bring your HTs. And depending on the length of the event, a go bag with clothes or maybe a little bit of food, something like that, medicines and so forth. This is, once again, we talked about HTs earlier. A tech wanting to join Aries, that's all they need to get started. If they can hit the repeater with a watt, half a watt, they're golden. The more you engage them, the better off they'll be. And you can use HTs for community events as well. Obviously, you can take this and hook it up to a battery and a UHF, VHF antenna and a tent or whatever and be on the air. Here's a couple of go boxes. I think these are a couple of the go boxes that were on displayed at one of the Aries conferences several years back. So here we go, public service events. This happens to be the Pataskla Street Fair. I had the honor of getting up in the 100-foot bucket and took some pictures of the street fair and of course the parade. But walkathons, bikeathons, festivals, community events, reach out to your community leaders. See what you can do for them for such things. Because who knows? What's to say that they don't need help with just making sure that things are going okay, especially for the bikeathons, walkathons, the runs. Several counties around help out with the bike rides. As a matter of fact, Matt is in charge of the Pan Ohio Hope Ride for amateur radio. He reaches out for help down during the route, and he makes sure that people are set in certain places, rest stops, and so forth. I happen to be set up at one. Well, I'll get to that here in a minute. Time is, commitment is typically defined in advance, especially for these community or public service events. Equipment is minimal. There again, an HT. Responsibility may include supporting the communication needs of the community agency, such as crowd control efforts, first aid stations, parking, etc. Here's a couple other community or public service events. This Tour de Cure right here used to come through Licking County, Knox County, Delaware County, and Franklin. They have since moved to the western side of Franklin County, the western part of Ohio. But this is an actual stop in Johnstown, and we had a net control set up in Johnstown, and we had people scattered throughout the track in Licking County, or the roads. I happened to be set at a water stop. A couple of bikes come around the corner. One girl, as she rounded the corner, it was a Y, and there was gravel in the middle of the Y. What'd she do? She hit that gravel. What happened? She went down. She ended up breaking her collarbone. So I called net control, let them know, got on the phone, called 911, called for the medics. They came, packed her up, put her in the medic, and hauled her to the hospital. SAG vehicle came through, picked up her bike, and everybody left. So that's one thing about net control. If I had not had phone service at my particular location, net control could have called 911 and had EMS en route very quickly. Winter run. Oh my gosh, that was a cold day. That's me, believe it or not, all bundled up. I had a great time. I'm sitting on top of a hill though. Guess where all the wind's coming? Across the top of that hill. And I was still cold. I would get in the truck and sit for a little bit just to warm up, even though I'm still bundled. And there was people with runners with ice in their mustache and beards as they went by us. That's another example. Localized disasters. Oh my gosh, tornadoes, floods, especially here in Ohio. Flooding and tornadoes are the main events that we get here in Ohio, obviously. And Ohio, the Ohio region, including Indiana, Michigan, and Kentucky, has been named the Extended Tornado Alley. So Tornado Alley has been extended into the Ohio-Kentucky region. That's why we've had so many tornadoes lately. And I hope and pray that we don't have as many as we had last year, because about 4 of them hit too close to my home. Search and rescue and traffic needs. The traffic situation, directing traffic, that would be up to the EC. A lot of times the local CERT, the community emergency response team, will handle traffic redirecting and that kind of thing. But don't discard CERT. Work with them. Work with your local CERT team. To my time commitment, there again is less than a major event. Typically, the volunteer would need to be part of an organization. Localized disasters. Yes, these are in Licking County once again. This one down here, we were assisting the local police department and sheriff's department looking for a murder weapon. The suspect threw the weapon, and they know that the suspect threw the weapon, but they weren't sure where. So they called out the CERT team, which the Aries and CERT team in Licking County work closely together. And we embedded an Aries member with the local CERT team. There was usually 3 or 4 people that went out in teams, and we had like 3 teams go out, so we had 3 Aries members embedded with the CERT teams. to provide communications, because their little walkies that they have just wasn't quite getting it. They couldn't communicate like they wanted to. So that's why we got involved. This one here, again, is a search and rescue. Local college student went missing, and after 4 hours of searching, unfortunately, the student was found deceased. And it was a tragic event, but he ended up taking his own life, unfortunately. But there again, that's Aries and CERT working together. Localized flooding. Aries was part of the flooding, so was CERT. We were helping with communications there as well, communicating back to the EOC, and the EC was in the EOC relaying information, even though they were on, March was operable, but we were able to shoot information back to the EOC via amateur radio. And that was what the EMA director wanted. He wanted to hear things from our perspective and not public service. So, major disasters, oh my goodness. Tornadoes, snowstorms, and severe thunderstorms are the major part of the severe weather nets in Ohio. This is where all the people will come out of the woodwork to help, and I appreciate that, and thank you very much if you do. Greatly appreciate that. The more help, the merrier. But there again, net control. Okay, this is where net control comes in handy, and the EC makes the decisions on who to deploy and to where, if need be. So from here, I want to talk about the ECs, no pun intended, you guys, and any future ECs, and or AECs, okay? So this is not just for ECs or future ECs, this is for AECs as well. The ARRL Emergency Coordinator is appointed by the section manager or the SEC. The emergency coordinator is the person responsible for the Aries group and at the local level. With this being said, I'm not pointing fingers at any one person, but I had a lengthy conversation at a ham fest recently. And no, I'm not dishing any club or anything, I'm not going to mention any names, but the club president was trying to run and oversee the Aries group. And I had a conversation with the EC, the DEC in that area, and the club president. The club president does not run the Aries group. It's the local EC. Now, if the club president is the EC, then that's a different story. But that president needs to take his hat off as club president and then put his Aries hat on. Okay? So you guys, whether you're a board member of a club or whatever, you run the Aries groups. The club president does not. And I felt the need to bring this up because of that scenario. I hated to see that happen and hear that happen, and I hope I don't hear that happening again. Okay? The EC is doing a great job up there, and the club president seems to be doing a great job, but he was overstepping his bounds as the president of the club. He's not in charge of the Aries group. Now, let me go a step further. With that being said, can the club support the local Aries group? by all means. The Clover Club down home, the NARA Club, Newark Amateur Radio Association, they support the Aries group. They licensed the repeater. But they also gave the Aries team permission to use those repeaters during emergencies. Thank you very much, Newark Amateur Radio Association. I greatly appreciate that. I really, really do. Because there has been many times where we've had to kick people off and rag chewing to fire up a net. We politely asked them, hey, we need to fire up a net. Can you guys take it someplace else, Simplex or whatever, so that we can operate a net here? 99% of the time they'll say, yeah, sure, sorry about that. We wasn't aware. Thank you. Appreciate it. Feel free to join in after, when we get ready to close the net. So, very important. EC's in charge of the Aries team, club president in charge of the club. Now, can the president make suggestions? Of course. Can the EC make suggestions to the club president or the board? Of course. But we've got to remember, we've got to take our hats off. Okay? So I haven't heard anything lately. Hopefully I don't. Hopefully it got resolved. And the reason I'm showing you guys this is to show what the emergency coordinator, their responsibilities are. And it's not hard work. It's hard work only if you make it hard. Okay? And one of the important things to this is having a relationship with your emergency EMA director. But in order to be an EC, you got to have a tech. You got to be a tech, obviously, a minimum. As a matter of fact, I believe out of all the counties that have ECs, I want to say 5% are technicians. Are they working on getting their general class? Yes, they are. Promote Aries activities for the benefit of the public. There again, we spoke about the public service event. We talked about net control. That's one of the things that the EC is supposed to do. Manage and coordinate training and organization and emergency communications, participation, and so forth. There again, the EC can say, I need you to have all 4 NIMs in order to participate in the EOC or a served agency. That's up to the EC and the served agency. If a served agency says you have to have all 4, so be it. You will not go into that EOC or.
County EMA requires.
Yes. Several years ago, the DNC that took place up in Cleveland, you had to have and show proof of your 4 NIMs. You couldn't just walk up and say, well, yeah, I've got my NIMs. No, where's the proof? You had to have proof, or they wouldn't let you in to participate as an Aries or amateur radio. The EMA director down in Lincoln County does not require it, only because he knows us. He knows our capabilities. But there are a couple of Aries members that are not allowed into the EMA office or the EOC. And you might have that bad apple where the EMA director is going to say, yeah, this person, no. He has that right, he or she has that right to not have an Aries member in their building. Remember, as an EC or Aries, you are there to serve them. They are the boss when you are in their building, out on their exercise or out on their event. They are the boss. you are basically the vice EMA director, so to speak. So whatever the EMA director tells the EC that needs to be done, the EC then turns around and sends that message out to get that job or whatever it might be done. Okay. Work to grow the local group. I understand. I've been in the EC shoes. I've tried to grow the local group. Sometimes it is difficult, and other times it's easy. Okay. It is going to take a little bit of work, but it's also up to each and every one of you if you want to become an Aries member. Okay. I can walk up and twist your arm all I want to. Doesn't mean that you're going to join Aries. No. You're going to say, hey, you're twisting my arm. You're hurting me. No, I ain't going to do that. If you're going to be that mean. So, yeah, it's up to each and every one of you. I encourage you to, because you never know when we may need you and you be able to be deployed. Because collect and consolidate your activities and activities of your members. That's one of the things that the EC does. Now, I'm going to get to something here later, but there's an easy way, and I believe you two know about what I'm talking about. I know Matt back here does, but we'll get into that later. So anyway, the monthly report comes to me, and the monthly report has been simplified for my use and for the EC use. They go onto a website, enter their numbers. The ARRL does not see those numbers until I turn in my report. So once they hit the submit button on their report, the EC hits their submit button. It just goes in and circles right back around and into my Form 4. And the ARRL does not see that information until I hit the submit button on my end. So it's very important, if you guys are tracking your time, to make sure you let your EC know. Okay? So we can capture the numbers for each county. Establish working relationships and partnerships with the federal, state, county, and city governments. Very important. EMA directors is your number one source that you should be trying to build that relationship with. I have the Licking County EMA director's personal cell phone number. I can call him right now if I wanted to and sit there and have a chat with him. He can call me.
Let's do it.
He's probably taking his nightly bath right now, get ready for bed. Or I would. He's one of those early to bed, early to rise type of guys. Very nice guy, but having that relationship with your local EMA director is very important. And like I said, I'm not picking on you guys at all. This is just reiterating. Identify and work easy for me to say, with local partners to assess how Aries can assist them with a mission. There again, EMA, good source. Talk to your EMA director, find out what his 10 worst headaches in the county is. Have him make a list. Work on those headaches for him or her. And as a group, you can prove to the EMA director that you can take that headache off of his top 10 list. But, big but here, do not oversell yourself. okay? Don't go into an EMA office and talk to the director. I don't care if you're an ARES member, an EC, AEC, or what. Do not oversell the group. For an example, let's just say you walk into, Doug, you walk into the EMA director and say, I can do this for you, I can do this for you, I can do this for you. And one of them is FL Digi. I'm just going to use that as an example. And digital communications. Well, when the crap hits the fan and you guys can't provide FL Digi and digital communications, the EMA director is going to stand back and go, you told me that you could do that. So don't oversell yourself to the EMA or any served agency as far as that goes, because it could come back and kick you in the rear. Talk to your EMA director, let them know what you currently can do. And if you're working on, say, FL Digi communications, hey, we're working on upgrading and working with digital communications. Until we master it and get good at it, I'm not going to offer it yet. I will let you know when we can be able to use it in emergencies. Too many counties will go in and sell themselves, oversell themselves. Establish local communications networks that run on a regular basis. ARES nets. How many ARES nets do you guys have a month? You have 4?
Essentially, 4.
4? Okay, good.
We have 4 digital nets. We have a half-hour digital net for our phone net.
Okay.
Using FL Digi.
FL Digi.
So everybody up to speed, they can check in using FL Digi on the digital net.
Now, is that simplex or is that through the repeater?
That's the repeater.
Through the repeater. Good exercise to test, simplex. Okay? Just an FYI. And simplex phone net. During one of your regular nets, just announce, oh crap, the repeater went down. So now we're simplex. Go to a simplex frequency and see, good test. The EC and AEC, don't be afraid to create your own exercises, your own drills. That's one way of keeping things, the communication within your county, moving. Don't hesitate to create a drill. 2-3 drills a year. Okay? Do a surprise drill sometime. My EC in Lincoln County did a surprise drill. It was fun. Work with myself, work with your DEC, obviously, to identify potential shortcomings, so to speak. For an example, FL Digi, what can we do to increase your use of FL Digi or whatever it might be. Establish an emergency traffic plan. Here we go. Traffic nets. Do some practice passing traffic on your local repeater during the net, plug net, whatever it might be. Okay? I highly recommend getting involved with message traffic handling through NTS. As a matter of fact, there is, I will send, if I remind, shoot me an email to remind me to give you guys a link to a virtual NTS traffic or NTS training. It's virtual, and it's on Wednesdays, I believe. But if you remind me, I will send you back the information, and you can share it with your groups and your clubs. But I highly recommend this. With amateur radio public service groups and organizations, we need to continue to establish that relationship and mutual trust with one another. There again, for an example, Club, Aries, CERT, your neighboring counties, have a relationship with the neighboring EC, because you never know. Morrow County or whoever, Summit County, or might need assistance because they have a major disaster that came through, and now they need help. Because a lot of the group or the club members can't help because they're taking care of their families first and foremost. And you guys might need backup radio comms. 2021, during the COVID, I was the EC of Licking County. I needed help with phone banks for the health department. I reached out, and we had several people come down and help us with the phone banks, answering phones for the health department. That's what the mutual aid is about. That's what's reaching out to your neighbors is for. Planning a draft, be specific plans to fulfill the community needs. Think about what happens in your community. What's the major disaster that happens up here? Possibly snow, possibly flooding, tornadoes. Think about that and create an exercise based off of that. Create a working SOP. Okay? Organizing, appoint AECs. There we go again. The AEC will be designated to a specific job. So, there again, net manager, technical specialist, whatever it might be. Exercise coordinator, creating exercises or drills. Coordinating an effective liaison between Aries and the EMA or a served agency. I am an assistant AEC for Licking County because the EMA director, when I stepped down as an EC, the EMA director says, "You're not going anywhere." I said, "But I took it over this SEC, Section Emergency Coordinator." He says, "I don't care, you're not going anywhere." And I'm like, "Sean, what do you want me to do then?" He says, "You stay on as an AEC, my liaison, and it's a deal." I said, "Sign the paperwork, I'll go for it." So I am still an AEC in Licking County as the EMA liaison. So don't be afraid to create liaisons as needed. Communicating, conduct periodic meetings like tonight, or each county have an Aries, so an actual Aries in-person meeting. You can still do your nets and consider that a meeting as well as a net. And if you have any talk about any specific thing training-wise, then it's a training also. So net, training, and meeting. Yes, that's triple dipping, but still, it's a purpose. You're doing 3 things in one shot. There again, delegate the AECs to the specific duties. That's what I did when I was EC. I had a liaison to the EMA. I had a right-hand AEC, and he backed me up. And I had an AEC that was a webmaster. I had an AEC that was net manager. I could have had a couple more if I wanted to. Selecting your assistants. I'm not going to go through all of this right here, right now, but you know who you have in mind for what purpose that you want them as an assistant. Recruiting members and clubs. Here we go. Here we go. How many want to join Aries? Oh, don't have to answer that. But that's kind of why I'm here, to help the local Aries group recruit members. There again, I'm not gonna come around and shake your hand and twist your arm at the same time and say you're joining Aries. No, I'm not. That's entirely up to you folks. All I can do is show you and tell you about Aries and give you a little bit of an idea of what the EC goes through. License classes, man, I tell you what, that's a good place to recruit. If you're a VE, somebody gets their tech license, hand them some information about Aries and your local group. Our club does that. We'll hand them information about Aries, and we'll hand them information about the local club. And if they decide they want to be a part of the local club, they get 1 year free. After that, they pay membership dues. Administrative duties. There again, part of that administrative duties is reporting, sending me your numbers for the month. And that is, right now that's been huge. I think Scott may be working on something for the clubs. I'm not sure. I've kind of heard a little something about it, but nothing's been set in stone yet. For the clubs to report time. Because the ARRL is trying to capture as much time as they possibly can for amateur radio. Because they are, the league is our advocates. Yes, Ohio has an amateur radio advocate as well at the State House, but we're trying to capture as many hours as we possibly can to send to our Congress and to the Senate. Annual, the SET, you guys do an SET, by the way. The SET this year will be October 4th. You can still do one and add it to the October 4th, but we decided this year that October 4th, or the first Saturday in October, I don't know why I said 4th, first Saturday in October is going to be the SET. And the Sarge will be open, so you guys can communicate with the Sarge down in Columbus. But anything else that you do, exercises or drills, can be added to that time. Oops. Okay, I'm going to go through the MOUs. How many of you know what an MOU is? Okay. I'm going to quickly go through this for those of you that don't. But my question is, the two ECs that are here, do you guys have MOUs with your local officials? Very good. Glad to hear that. Basically, an MOU is an agreement between the local Aries group and the served agency, say your EMA, your Red Cross, and so forth. It's an agreement that where the served agency is basically saying, when I need you, I will need you, and here's what I would expect from you guys and gals. This is what I'm going to need from you. That's putting it in a nutshell. Now, can the actual agreement deviate? Of course. Everybody forgets what the actual MOU with the EMA or the Red Cross, whoever it might be, talks about or is in there. But this right here is what the basics of the MOU is. And it's very important that you have one. The ARRL has MOUs nationally. Yes, that works nationally. Can we use it? Yes, we can. But we still should get with our local served agencies and talk to them about an MOU between the Aries group, the radio club, and them. Again, this is some information about local information. The National Weather Service, that is a national MOU, and most everybody falls under the national because we are eyes and ears, boots on the ground for the local EMA and National Weather Service. There again spells out the capabilities. The amateur radio operators and the organization needs of the served agency. So if you're deployed to the Red Cross and you're in there operating and you have a couple people come in and the Red Cross, somebody from the Red Cross comes up and says, hey, would you mind taking the trash out for us? We're shorthanded. As the EC or whoever's in charge of the Aries team at the Red Cross can say, yeah, sure, hey, why don't you go take care of that for them? Yes, we will help them out. That's a feather in our cap. Just like the phone banks, when the Aries team down in Licking County was helping with the phone banks. Is that communications? Yes, it is. Is that emergency communications? Well, not necessarily. But you know what? The health department looked at the CERT team and the Aries team and put a feather in our caps and saw what we went out of our way to do to help them, our served agency. Yes, we have an MOU. Our MOU is basically to provide backup communications. But we went out of our way to help the health department and put a glimmer in our eye about the Aries in amateur radio. So here is the national MOUs. We got the Red Cross. We got Boy Scouts of America, Civil Air Patrol, EMA, the National Volunteer Organization Active in Disasters, Skywarn, SafeCom, and that's just a few. I didn't list all of them because I could double that list, and I said, no, I'm just going to give the highlights. So where are we going? Now this is where we're going to get into a little bit more about the training. So the tiers, we have 3 tiers for training. Tier 1, 2, and 3. Tier 1 is non-NIMS entry. Tier 2, NIMS qualified and EC recognized for deployment. Tier 3, top. Basically as far as you can go. Now, Stan Broadway started this. Stan and Scott, actually both of them did. The 300 and the 400 are classroom. 8 hours a day. Actually, no. It's more than that. I think it was like 24 hours, 3 days. They are hard to come by now. So, with that being said, if you complete the development series, which is the 120, 200, 230, 235, 240, 41, 42, 44, and 88, that will equal out to the same thing as the 300 and 400 as far as the state of Ohio is concerned. Okay? So, any of you that wants to work on the professional development series, have at it. I've got both. I've just for the heck of it, I did the development series after I took the 300 and 400 class. Because I wanted to see what it was. I did that so I could see. for myself what's involved with those individual courses. National change is similar, a good fit. Online volunteer management, here we go. I said I was going to talk about this earlier. Volunteer ham. I talked to Doug, and Doug's got a few members working on it. Cuyahoga County, man, they're eating it up. They're taking off with it. Hamilton County's taking off with it. Licking County's taking off with it. Those were just some of the counties that I can think of right off the top of my head. I was hoping to do a live demo of volunteer ham, but I'm not going to have time tonight. So maybe we can do something, a Zoom or something for those interested. I can do a live demo of volunteer ham. But I highly recommend it. It saves the EC some time. Yes, he still has to figure out who's not on volunteer ham. And late tonight, I'm going to guess there's, 30 people here, just ballpark?
48.
48, thank you. So out of that 48, let's just say 24 are on volunteer ham. So as the EC, he's going to say, well, okay, well, I'm just going to take these numbers from these 24, and I'm going to double it and add it to my report. Okay, cool. That's fine and dandy with me. Great. Okay? Because he's getting numbers off of volunteer ham, and he can take the numbers and adjust them for his reports. But what the volunteer ham does, it also is allowing the EC to schedule events so people can go on to volunteer ham if you're signed up for it and sign up for the event. There's a calendar on there for the county. Just to name a few of the things. Great tool, and it's free. Who remembers Aries Connect? Remember the debacle and how hard it was to get through Aries Connect, to figure stuff out. Volunteer ham. When Aries Connect went away, I contacted my AEC at the time, who is IT, and he's a code writer. I says, can you come up with something? He says, by all means. And he did. That was 5 or 6 years, 7 years ago, when Volunteer Ham or Aries Connect went away. So he is continually updating and making improvements to this day that I have seen, but nobody else has, because I help him check it to make sure it operates okay. But great tool for you guys to use, and it's also good for the ECs. I encourage you to sign up and use it to help the EC. Now, like tonight, some people might say, well, this is a club meeting. Yes, it is. Why do we want to put tonight's club meeting on Volunteer Ham? Volunteer Ham is not just for Aries. Volunteer Ham is for all amateur radio operators to use. Okay? At the end of the year, you can look at your own report and track and claim some of your volunteer time, your mileage, your hours, that kind of stuff on your taxes. So it's a great tool to keep track of things that your volunteer time that you do. We cannot assume that our people are deployable, health or otherwise. This is true. And there again, it falls back to family, number one. Take care of your family first before you offer to deploy. Family first. My director knows my number. Never assume. Never assume. Always stay in contact with your EMA director. If the EMA director says, well, I'm not interested, okay, I'll check back with you in a couple months. Don't pressure, but just shoot them an email, or him or her, let them know that you're available if anything were to happen. Okay. The numbers that you're going to see are from 2024, and this is my report because I track it as well. So I can pass this information along to everybody that wants it. Now, this is reported hours through the ARRL Form 2 Aries. Does that mean that the club can't be a part of those hours? Well, sure you can. So, 2024 reported membership is 10,000. Number of nets was 5,800. NTS nets was 4,800. Participants was 30,900. Exercise events, 473, which is a little bit down from 2023. Exercise hours is 7,000. There again, a little low from 23. Training, I think training was up a little bit from 23. Hours, oh my gosh, look at that, 10,000 hours. That's great. That means people's been out doing training or having training nets and counting that as training as well. Public service events, 291. Hours at 7,780. Community service events, 200. Hours, 56,65. Now, field day coming up in June. Hamfest, community events, both of them. You work 24, if you have a crew there 24 hours, so be it. If one of your members is there for 24 hours, put them down for 24 hours under community event. However many hours you're at. So if I leave at 10 o'clock in the morning and start heading out to different field day sites and I don't get home until midnight, my time starts as soon as I leave at 10 o'clock in the morning. I'll claim 14 hours for the day and however many miles. And that's fun, going around to different field days. Emergencies. Thankfully, this is a low number. 2,600. Skywarn. I'm glad to see that it was as low as it is, considering 2024 was an active year. 4,500 hours. Meetings, 840. For a total of 15,000 hours. Claim this meeting tonight. You can claim it as a meeting and you can claim it as training. This is basically training. Unclassified events, 2,500. 15,000 hours. And total Aries events was 16,000. In the hours, 69,000. And the state of Ohio, again, reported. That's just reported. That doesn't include those that have not reported or gotten their numbers information in. But this $2 million last year to the state of Ohio, to our local communities, to our counties. Over $2 million. Now that's down from 2023. I think 2023 we're up over 3. But still, I'm happy with those numbers. That's great. Let's just make 2025 larger. Let's get those numbers up. So that's where we stood in 2024. Okay, so any questions? I don't want to take up too much more of your time, so.
I have a question.
Yes.
And I know this was brought up in our conference call, but way back when, Scott and Stan had worked with the state to get a state credentialing system for people. We used that credentialing when we did the had those credentials for the RNC.
Uh-huh.
Are we planning on having anything like that ever again? It kind of went by the wayside.
I believe it's still active. I'll have to check in on that because it's been, since I've taken over,
Yeah.
I think only one other person asked me about that, and I looked into it.
I think I emailed you my credential when we were talking about it on the conference call that evening.
That-
'Cause nobody knew what they were talking about. And I still have my credentials from the RNC, so I think
Okay.
I emailed that to you.
I believe so, but I'll get with Scott especially, because I doubt Tom would know would know anything about it. So I'll get with Scott to find out, see what he knows, and I'll dig through some of my files when I get back. Any other questions? Matt, do you want to say a couple of
Real quick,
things?
My name's Matt Nicholson. I'm the DEC. For those of you that live in Medina County, if you're interested in getting involved, you can reach out to me. You can reach out to Bob Mueller, KAND. The Medina County Communications Unit is where the EMA goes to get volunteers. So if you're interested, you can volunteer with them. Their meetings are the second Thursday of the month up at Chippewa Lake. And if you don't live in Medina County, reach out to your EC. We've got Ken here from Summit, so you guys are kind of stretched out. So that's about it. If you got any questions, just let us know.
Thank you. Okay, that's all yes, Doug.
Could you quickly talk about the capabilities of the SARG and what the procedure is with that to be activated?
Okay, that's a good question. So to activate the Sarge, you get a hold of me via phone or email or text. And what I will do, if you call me, I'll ask a few questions. And then I'll make the decision from there if the Sarge needs to be opened up. Now, it's not going to open up right away because I live 30 minutes away from the Sarge, okay? And most of my team, except for one other, lives about the same distance. We're still within District 7, Central Ohio. But once we get to the Sarge, we'll open it up. Contact the county or whoever requested it, and then what we can do, we can talk HF, especially up here, more than likely be HF, 40 and 80. We can go lower or higher. We have WinLink, we do FL Digi, we do have a UHF VHF station. We do have a 2-meter beam that we can swing, but we would need the frequency and PL, the local repeater, because we don't, right now I don't have all that information gathered and the radio programmed, the 2-meter 440 repeater. So we can try to reach up here, but on HF or FM. We might be able to, I don't know, but HF would be the best way. WinLink or FL Digi digital modes. Does that answer your question? And usually when we're activated, we have 2 members in the radio room. So one station is the voice, another station is a digital station, and they're separate and they run off of separate antennas. So, anything else? Thank you very much. I deeply apologize that I went over my time. It's been a pleasure being here. Thank you.
All right, Brett. Thank you so much. I do appreciate you being here. Well,
Yeah. But thank you once again.
no worries. Okay, let's take a short 5 minutes, and we're going to attempt to get you out of here by 9 o'clock still. What? Oh, 50-50, if you haven't got your 50-50 raffle tickets, they're on sale now. And trust me, the winning ticket has not been sold yet.
I think it has.
No, it hasn't.
I think I bought it.
Good evening, Sarah and friends, again. Yeah, this is my favorite part. Welcome, Sarah and friends. Yeah, that's what we're doing here. Real quick, anybody in the room who is a new ham or new to the club, or this is your first time here? Anybody?
Okay, you gotta get up here.
Okay, we have, if you would please stand and let us know who you are.
My name is Mark Baker. I call Baker KF8CLO, and I listen every morning.
Listen.
What?
Listen. Does your radio not have a push to talk?
Thank you. I did back in November, December, but I drive the Amish for a living, so sometimes I'm not in an area where it gets out.
Well, don't.
I am. I actually bought a radio, another one. Children and
All right, absolutely. Well, welcome and thank you for being here. Yes. Anybody else? I recognize a number, most everybody. All right, very good. Oh, by the way, yeah, we are the best looking hams in the hobby, and if you don't believe me, just look to your right or look to your left.
Just don't look straight.
All right, a couple of announcements before we get started. Well, first, I want to welcome Nick back. Hiatus. I mean, he's been on vacation. I think, where were you, Bermuda or?
Holmes County.
Down on the farm.
Follow that guy driving the Amish around.
All right, dues are due. If you please get your dues in. If you haven't paid yet, you have till the end of the month. Then you're going to get some annoying phone calls from me and some other people. So you don't want to hear from me any more than you have to. So get your dues in, please. We really have a need for a network or net control operators and folks to back us up. Ironically, we talked about this last month, and this month it comes full circle.
Fruition, if you will. Fruition?
Yeah.
Prediction?
Full circle, anyway. This is the May barometer net schedule. Now, Fred's going to be out of town or out of the country, I think, right, Fred? Yeah, for 3 weeks. So here's the schedule the way I got it now, unless somebody else steps up. Mondays stay the same with Dave and TAD. These 2 weeks, the week of the 5th and the 12th, I guess I got to do that here. I'm going to pick it up here. And Saturdays stay the same. We have Stefan and Phil are going to continue there. And then the week of the 26th, Fred gets back. He'll be taking the 27th and the 28th. And Nick, I'll be out of town then. And Nick's going to pick up the 29 and 30. You can see a lot of the same people are doing the net control stuff. So we really could use some net control operators. And so when Brett was talking today about net control training, this is a perfect way to step into it and get your feet wet. So that being said, we could certainly use your help. And if you would like to do any of those days, most of those days are available. So if you can help us out, we would certainly appreciate it. Fred.
Whoever substitutes for me, I will pay them back. It's a long time.
How much?
Money.
It's not a matter of paying back. It's just a matter of, it would be nice if we had more people involved. And I mean, you know. All right, moving right along. I want to welcome our Mr. Vice Treasurer. Newly elected Mark Hayden, K4OG. You know what? I put down on this slide, I changed it this afternoon. It was K8OG. I don't know why I keep doing that. I keep doing that. I don't know why.
I feel like I'm loved.
You are. You absolutely are. Okay. Any other announcements for the good of the cause? All right. I am going to speed through this as much as I can, you guys. So if there's any questions or anything, just say, whoa. Yes, ma'am.
Question
Yes.
for the social committee chair.
Yes.
Do they need like cookies or cupcakes or anything for whatever the next event is?
Always. We'll always, I'll talk to you after.
Okay.
General idea of the event.
We'll talk after, yeah, absolutely.
Yes, Stefan, NAWB, he's the,
Oh, I'll never remember that number.
well, Stefan Kim.
Yeah.
Okay. If you just give him your, okay. All right, any other announcements for the good of the cause?
I'd like to notify that, kept being referred for doing another car, I'm back on the road again.
Stay off the sidewalks.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to start walking again, Mark. Yeah, no worries. All right, last call for announcements. Anybody else? What?
I got some things.
Oh,
I got a Winco 6-meter mobile radio. Missing the power cord. It's got the plug but no cord. And I got a Kenwood external speaker. I'd like to get 100 for the radio and 20 or so for the speaker. Also over on the bar, I have a box full of old computer components. I tore apart some computers, threw stuff in a box, and if anybody wants it, it's free. If you don't want it, it's going in the trash. That's all I got.
all righty. Thank you, sir. We appreciate that. All right. Announcements? All right. Approval of the meeting minutes from March. I had to make sure. Move to accept. Stefan?
Second?
Yeah, I'll second it. And what's the name, please? Did you get that? Brian, right? Okay, Brian, V-A-N. Okay. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay, Treasurer's report.
Okay,
Mr. Treasurer.
okay, well, this last month, a lot of it was, okay, this last month, a lot of what we had came from the 50/50 raffle shirts. We bought a number of pieces of equipment which we use just to keep everything up and going. Transferred $800 from PayPal, that is dues. And I left a balance in the PayPal of $56.97. Cash on hand, I'm keeping $40 here because I have people that want a shirt. They want to pay the dues, and I can't make change. Well, that's not good. So I'm keeping some cash on hand. One thing, when you pay your dues, be sure to pay your dues. Don't just go in and fill out the screen. There's a place where it can be paid on PayPal. I've had a number of them that have had that. So now I'm going to have to go and try to collect the money. I will take cash. I will take a check. I will take food. I don't care. Just pay it. Food is good. So I guess that's about all that I have.
All right. All right, Mike, thanks for that report. And yeah, we've had some folks paying their dues. And we have made a couple of expenditures that we'll get to in just a second. And now we're into the mainstream here, committee reports. First up, technical committee.
That's a great picture.
Jason looks kind of demonic from this.
He's, what is that from Stargate? He's one of those,
He's well made up. You can see the makeup.
no, Stargate. You guys remember?
Makeup.
The Gaul. There we go, somebody said it.
TV.
Okay, go ahead. Oh,
No,
wait a
I'm not
minute.
saying anything now.
All right, this is nothing particularly exciting. The club's adopting a new online platform for organizing files, the roster, things like that. Eventually, anybody who is on a committee will end up getting an account setup request. But I'll send out emails about that in advance when I'm ready for that. If you're on the executive committee, please set up your account. Everyone did that, right? After I sent you all an email?
I did it.
All right, good job, guys. All right.
I did it.
We are, at the request of Josh and the operations committee, we're getting band pass filters for 12 meters and 17 meters. I ordered those today, actually, so I think we'll have those in time for the POTA event. Actually, we should have, because that's in May, right?
Right.
Yeah.
May 31st.
Oh, yeah, we'll get those done. And then the last thing, we are going to replace the wire legs on the fan dipoles. If you were involved in that, oh, stop. If you were involved in that last year, when I designed and made it originally, I chose copper-clad steel core wire for strength. That was the wrong optimization for field day because Nick kept tangling the wires and blending the wire. No, it wasn't paid to work with. So we're going to replace those with a bunch of flex weave cable. So that's it. Any questions for Tech Weave? All right.
So this time when we set it up, someone's gonna remember to bring a radio, right? Set it up.
Radio? All right, Learning and VE Committee, Mr. Hunter.
Not a whole lot to report here. We do have a learning opportunity coming up on May 3rd at the Rittman Library. It's geared towards the newer hams, and Jason is going to be the lead instructor with that. And it's really going to be more of an Elmering opportunity, setting up your ham shack and getting people started off on the right foot. So that's what we have.
I drafted Ken. Ken's helping.
Ken? Well, another very qualified.
Well, if you need some more people, then it would be, no, okay, good.
We're good.
All right, sounds good.
I mean, people are welcome to come, but it's.
No, I know, I was just wondering if you needed more of a panel. No, okay, good.
We're good.
And that's a great class. We've been talking about that for a couple years, as a matter of fact, and now it is going to be a reality. So thank you, Doug. Do appreciate that. And Stefan, we're still good for exam tool rollout in August?
Yeah, we're shooting for that.
So-
There's gonna be some emails that are coming out soon.
Okay.
From me in May. Get
Great.
people on board, and then my old boss, who's the president of Doors, is gonna do a Zoom video for all those people that are
Okay.
on board. Yep.
All right, very good. And last question for you, Stefan. Do you think that that those cards with the QR code, the handout cards that you were going to order, do you think we'd have those by the 3rd?
By May 3rd, if we order them, I can get them in this week, yeah.
Well, can we do that?
We can, yeah.
Okay, then let's do that.
Okay.
Perfect. All right, I think that, yes. Mike,
I'm just curious about the class. We have a lot of new hams down in Stark County now. And,
come on down. Or is that us?
and there's some that sign up to, all that kind of stuff.
$5 million per person.
Do we have a sign up online or anything?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. If where's the link at for that?
It's right there. It's the first article on the page right now.
Oh, okay, great.
I announced it Wayne on the Wayne net
Okay, great.
We've had 2 signups for it so far.
All right, that's a start. Sounds like we might get some folks from down south. All right, Mike, thanks for that question. I do appreciate that. Anything else for the Learning and VE Committee? All right, member support. The only thing that we have again on the docket is, at least formally, is Barbara Bowen. She has requested assistance. She finally reached out. She reached out to Dave, NTAD, and so Dave's going to be the point person on this. I think Jeff's volunteered to help with that, and a couple other people. Bob's got a bunch of ham gear that she, I guess, is now finally getting to the point where she wants to get rid of it or dispose of it. And just like we did with Zeke, for Zeke's widow, I should say, we're going to help Barbara in disposing of, if you would, Bob's equipment. So anyway, that's on the ticket. And Ron, what else is going on here? You can do this.
Sooner or later. Yeah, I don't really have much happening. Just kind of got a pretty good group of people that are helping out one thing at a time. It's kind of a volunteer setup at this point, but I got a bunch of good help that's helping out do some things. But we really haven't got into too much yet.
I think when the weather breaks, finally,
It'll help, but
you'll be busy.
we need to find a way for people to reach us, find a formal way to, I guess. I don't know how we're gonna do that.
Well, we'll figure it out. Yes, we will. Okay, so a lot of informal stuff going on right now, but we will formalize it. Okay, perfect. All right, very good. Any questions for Ron? Or me? Okay, Social Committee, Stefan.
Yo. So, our first event is POTA coming up May 31st. We already got everything in place for the POTA thing. I want to thank Doug Strait for getting us prices and everything for the food. We're going to go real simple this first one. We're not going to bring out the filet mignon or lobster or anything like that. It's going to be hot dogs, no hamburgers this time. We will get to that in the future, so don't worry about that. But you know what? So, well, we got it all covered, all the accoutrement you can, and apparently, if everything works out, we'll have baked goods. So that'll be a real nice thing for the POTA that will work that out too.
Dessert?
Yes, dessert.
Dessert.
Dessert. I don't know if it's deserving, but it's dessert. So we also have the field day coming up. We're going to start discussing that shortly, beginning of May. This is this year's field day t-shirt. We're not having a contest. What I said I'd like to do with the social committee is do a contest every other year. I don't want it to get into a thing where everybody's expecting a contest. I want you to work on something. You got like a year and a half to get it done. The next one will be, the contest will be for the 26th season. Every other year we'll do a standard t-shirt. It won't be this design. That is a working QR code, by the way. That it goes right to our Sarah About page. I already talked with John. John talked with his manager person, and he said they can print QRC codes that work on anything, t-shirts, hats, or anything. So I know it works. We probably will lose a few of the lines in there. I've been communicating with somebody that's really high up in the chain of the Sarah group, and we might be changing a few of the things, maybe taking the date out and stuff like that. But that is the ARRL phrase that'll probably get moved up Radio Connect. But otherwise, that's the t-shirt. We'll have the designs out at some point magically on the Sarah website. Maybe Jason can show me how to do that. Maybe I'd be glad to do that. You know, figure out how to do that. I'll get prices from John. Other than that, our next big event, of course, as you know, is Field Day. We will talk about all that by beginning of next month. We'll have another social committee meeting, and the POTA one, I think it's going to go off pretty well just to start. So that's kind of where we are. And last thing about I'm going to jump back on the VE thing. If you're on the VE team, you will get an email from me getting signed up to exam tool send me your information. I'll put you in this area group, and then we're gonna do a training session with my old boss, John Dolan, RW8 NYO, and he's the president of Norris. I've sat with them in their February session, went extremely well. They just did a next session, test session in a library like this last Saturday for their guys to go through, and John said he's willing to go through the whole process to show you that. So he's their IT guy. I'm going to be our IT guy as well. And then we're also talking with Jason about getting some portable devices for us to use. For that, not for people to take their tests on, but for the BEs who are part of, as Eric, part of the BE system, because Eric's part of the, aren't you part of the Norris thing? No? I didn't do it, okay. Other than that, I think we're moving forward with that as well. Now, Russ.
What color is the shirt?
I don't have a color yet. We'll figure a color and then.
Not white, I hope.
No.
The reality is we could have different colors.
We could, yeah, absolutely.
We could have different colors.
Yeah, and
So-
long sleeve, short sleeve, whatever, like we've always done.
Perfect. Anything for any other questions for Stefan? All right, very good. Let's keep her moving. Ops, Kevin. Another guo.
All right, Josh isn't here tonight, so he asked me to take over. Don't worry, this will only take about 45 minutes.
Bye.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. All right, where do we go here? Oh, that was fun. All right, Multi-Club POTA, May 31st. Exciting stuff. Field Day, June 28th and 29th, 65 sleeps away. So there'll be a lot more going on with that. There's a lot going on behind the scenes. Other events under consideration we'll talk about in a second. So Operations Committee had a meeting. I wanted to attend, but I had no internet for the day, so I missed out on the Zoom meeting. He kind of summed it up. They met. They talked about what they're going to do. Upcoming events are POTA, the May 31st multi-club event thing is pretty exciting. I know there's at least 3 clubs so far in Northeast Ohio. We started this last year, and it was a good time. We're doing it again. I know he's looking for some people to help out. I think that's on the next slide. Of course, field days, as I said, coming up. I hear a lot more about that in the coming days as we start filling things in. Their next meeting is going to be Saturday, May 3rd, 3 p.m. on Teams. We've been using Teams, which is kind of fun. That will probably change by then, do you think, Jason? And do you think we'll have everybody up and running on the new platform? Possibly? Okay.
Depends if people are diligent about signing up.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Why do you keep looking at me when?
I don't know why.
In general, and people who didn't reply to my email.
So, of course, that meeting, they're going to finalize the POTA plans, make more field day plans, discussion about things, and talk about other possible events. Josh is in a meeting. That's what that is.
Speaking of meetings, am I the only one that got kicked off of the last meeting early?
No.
Okay.
I don't know. I wasn't there. I just didn't want you to feel bad.
I didn't.
It was a team.
So summer events coming up. Obviously, we're talking about POTA again, Saturday, May 31st. Put it on your calendar. And one of the cool things about this is, and this comes up in another slide, is you don't have to go there to do this. You can stay at home and hunt, and that does us a lot of good. I learned that from Lane. I didn't know you could just sit at home and hunt and peck without like doing all the stuff, so I never did it. So yeah, you don't have to go out to play. And of course, field day, we're changing it up every year a little bit more, and there'll be some extra changes this year because I drove by there today and realized, those of you who've been there, the 3 steps up and down to get to the bathroom, not gonna happen.
You have to go through the bathroom.
Okay, thanks. I was thinking we'd rent a porta pot, put it right out there for me, one of the nice blue ones. Sit out there in the sun. You all can just come visit me. I'll give directions.
You can use the women's restroom.
The room is on the lower floor.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are members, right? Yeah, the ladies' room, but across from the kitchen.
Yeah.
All right, I've got a bathroom now. Great. Okay. Still, 24 hours is a long time to be there. I'm just prepping everybody for this.
There you go.
All right. Fox hunt. Who is in charge of fox hunting now?
Dave.
Dave still? All right, Dave's not here. I've been waiting for a long time to
He
say
would
that.
be pleased to organize another one, I'm sure.
Yeah, and I don't know if you all heard on some of the nets. Have you heard on some of the nets, Gary? That we've got somebody coming back and doing their alarming thing from time to time. So I think we may want to set up like an emergency fox hunting
A
team.
real fox.
Let's go.
Yes.
I know someone that bought a triangulation system at the fox hunt, at the Hamfest.
Bracket.
That could be worth a Kraken.
Yeah,
Bring out the
yeah.
Kraken. And Ohio State Parks on the Air, Saturday, September 6th. I'm sure Josh will put something together about that. I'd like to take a minute to talk about POTA because for years people were coming to me and say, we should do a POTA thing, we should do a POTA thing. And I didn't want to have to learn everything and I didn't want to have to do stuff on top of field day, so I kept saying, somebody wants to put something together, have at it. Josh put it together and he's been rewarded with a committee. So if you have any great ideas about stuff we should do,
Yay.
bring it to us. And
You too will be rewarded.
and
with
you
a
too will be rewarded with having to do something. But it's worked out great, so it's a great thing, and the people who are involved in it know all about it, and I don't have to know very much, and that's okay with me. Okay, the multi-club POTA event. Location, any park your club wants. We are going to, Walker Pavilion at Portage Lake State Park, where we had it last year. Awesome stuff. So, we've been trying to recruit other clubs to get involved. Like I said, I know there's 3. You can go out on your own and do a park, or like I said, you can stay at home and play. So pick a park, join an activity. Individuals, we're trying to find people to do other things. I think that's the next slide. Okay, here's the clubs we got so far. Sarah, of course, that's us. Norris and the Cuyahoga County guys are there. And Warren, that would be Andy, AB8MO. So those are the 3 that are getting together, and that's about how many we had last year, I think. Actually, I think it was 4 or 5. So we got a little time to get some more together. Oh, we've got graphics. Moving graphics even. All right, that's from last year's POTA event, isn't it? Yeah, that's right. Gary and I were fighting over burgers and dogs.
Hamburgers.
Hamburgers and dogs.
Stefan, hamburgers.
So this is going to go from 10 to 2.
Any social committee people would like that?
And that's a good amount of time for a park. You don't want to commit to longer than that, which Josh wanted to do. I said, man, you get stuck out there and the bands are dead, you're going to be sitting out there swatting flies for nothing. So that's 10 to 2 is a good time. It's not the best for all the bands, of course, but hey, it's a park activation. Can't be there after dark. Activators, get there early. I think we got there at 8 a.m. last year, 8 a.m.-ish. And took a little time to get the antennas and things up. So if you're an activator, get there early. Walker Shelter, like I said, great place. Easy to find, lots of parking. Bathrooms are right there. And it's right over the boat launch, so you can watch people do ridiculous YouTube-worthy things.
And hurt their shoulders.
That too. Yeah, people cartwheeling into the water. All right, RSVP form coming. So Josh is working on that. What help is needed? There's our safety guy from the last couple years, I think. Yeah, that's him. What are you doing? I'm going to leave that one alone. So we're going to need some setup and cleanup for the things. Visiting other club activators, thank them for participating. Basically somebody to meet and greet. That sounds like a good job for a committee member. Special activities participate. Apparently there's some special activities, some other things that we can do, and they've been talking about them, and we'll put stuff out when things can happen. And here they are, as a matter of fact. NBIS Day. When is NBIS? I heard you were talking about it last night on the net, weren't you? On the Wayne Club net?
Next Saturday.
Okay. So those
Is it next Saturday?
Yeah, so if you're going to the Tusco Ham Fest, go home and get on and do some Endus and try to make contacts.
So there you go. We went. Was it last year we went to Wayne to try to do NBIS and it was a soccer day or something?
Yes.
Or was that? Couldn't park within 2 miles of the place. All right. Satellite contacting is something that they talked about. I think Mark's getting into that right now, the original gangster guy. Lane, I asked him about 6 meter, 2 meter, 1.25 meter, 70 centimeter contacts. I guess there is some possibility of doing POTA stuff in those bands?
Yes.
Okay. So techs can go out there, set up their gear, and still do POTA on those things. And what, he was talking about a 6 meter, some sort of certificate for six meter contacts or something?
Yeah, there's a 6-pack award for 6 feet.
Okay, 6-pack. Oh, Gary, a 6-pack. I'm in. All right. So everybody's listening now. All right. So that would be kind of cool and some fun stuff for techs. Digital simplex contacts is something that I've done in the past. We used to get together Friday nights, and 3 or 4 or 5 of us, Brandon left, and yeah, we would try C4 FM, or we would try our D-Star ICOMs, and just try simplexing with each other. And Brandon, who was here earlier, K8ARB, he lives in Manaway, and I could contact him on C4 FM simplex from 50 miles away at my place. So you can get a little more distance, and it's interesting to find out what you can do with the simplex stuff as far as the digitals go. And that's something they're talking about doing, setting up a time and doing that on the regular. Some competition ideas for those of you who like to compete. Different modes, and fully portable backup activation. That sounds like something Benjamin would want to do. How's your pack, your Go pack? Still together?
Oh yeah.
891 in it?
Yeah.
Ready to go?
Do what I did last year, have Brandon, we hike, go through the woods and do another POTA activation in the middle of the woods while you guys are doing your thing.
Yeah. What else did we do that was fun? Oh, I did the GM thing with the Yaesus, the group monitoring, where the guys were coming in, they were on the group monitoring, that little GM button on all your Yaesus that you don't know what it's for. Yeah, that will actually send out a beacon and tell the other radios on that frequency where you are, show you on a map where they are, and get you to where you're going one way or another, and you can talk over it at the same time. So we played with that. Ron, we talked to you on your way in, didn't you? Didn't we? The POTA thing? Yeah. So fun stuff we can do, fun stuff we can organize. Oh, field day. Interesting. Very interesting. I'm Batman. 28th and 29th. 60, what did I say? 65 sleeps away? All day, all night, no sleep. Legion Hall, right up the street. Unless you have a hammock. I drove by there on the way here, though it's kind of slushy around the yard there, I got to tell you. Stop by there. Butts and seats, we're going to talk about maybe some different strategies this year. Butts and seats got us a little more, but I think, Scott, what we need to do is get on 15 or 20 minutes early, find some place to start calling CQ, and we never leave that frequency all day and make everybody come to us.
It took a long time to get a spot on 40, but when we got
They just line up, right?
Yeah. It was ours. Yeah, you got to get a frequency.
So we're going to try a different strategy. Of course, we'll have FT8 running and some other things, and I would like to man somebody at just a talk-in station, an actual GOTA station, so we can get some text on the air and have someone out there just bouncing back off the repeater, see if we can get some people that way. That's all I got for social committee. I hope I did Josh justice.
Yay.
You did.
Perfect. All right. Very good. Yeah, NVIS. When did you say that was, Jerry?
It is
This
April
weekend?
26th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.
26th.
Yeah,
Okay.
same as the Tusco EM Fest.
Ah, okay. Okay, great. All right, that's what we have. New club business. Anything for the good of the cause? Okay. This is kind of redundant, isn't it? Any comments for the group? Fred.
Can I make a comment?
Absolutely.
I despise Discord. I'm not cussing with that. But last month, you had made the edict, and I understand you're the club president and Marty's the repeater owner, custodian, but you made the edict no possible confrontation topics. Repeater why? Not just on the net. And I wasn't available to find out what went on the net. I wasn't there and somebody was offended. But I don't know that squashing free speech is legal. Say nothing
No, it doesn't go away, Fred. When you stir the pot, it doesn't go away. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I think as in the NCO position, we have to prevent contention from happening, okay, instead of blaming them on. So when, for instance, most recently, when FQB got on and was calling Ray a traitor on the net, instead of arguing with him about what it is or isn't, you simply say, thanks, Mark, have a nice day, and move on, right? That's the best way to handle it, okay? So if someone wants to get on our nets and try to stir something up, it's our responsibility as NCOs and I guess representatives of WKY to just kind of keep it from happening, okay? I'm not saying you can't say anything. I'm not saying that free speech is being squelched, but free speech is not without consequences. So if somebody wants to start a fight on our nets over something or express their opinion beyond what we would consider regular conversation, do our best just to shut it down, okay? I'm not saying you can't talk about all this stuff. How can you talk about, I mean, we don't live in a vacuum, right? But we'd rather not turn the nets into, and the example I always use is, if you've ever been on the net, when they get into EV vehicles versus ICE vehicles, and you end up with 3 or 4 people going back and forth for a half hour about whether EVs or internal combustions are better and blah, 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 blah. Okay, it's not necessary. So just, let's just try to keep it simple on the net. That's all.
Intention wasn't just on nets, I get that. But if you're off net hours, and we're having a roundtable discussion, and there's not discord, but there's not everybody's agreeing with everybody, I don't understand what the problem would be, because we've had discussions like that before, and everybody's walked away happy. Nobody was offended. Nobody had their feelings.
Nobody said anything about, you can't say anything on WWKY about anything. That was specifically NCOs. If somebody wants to start a fight on a net, shut it down. Not the net, the fight. Don't add to it. All right, and that goes for everybody who's on the net too, because you can throw in there and get somebody fired up too. Trust me, I've done it. Okay? But you can also shut it down and get everybody back on the track, and we can all have fun, talk about the weather. That's all right.
Anything else? Last month, just to conclude this conversation, I asked the NCOs to do 2 things: don't instigate, and don't respond. Just don't instigate and don't respond. So, I mean, people say things on my nets, and I say, okay, I move on, and that's it. And you know what? There's just no. There's run for office if you want to talk politics. All right. Anything else? Let's see what's next. Woo! All right.
The price today is $76.
All right, Brenda, would you like to do the honors?
Well, I might draw my own, but.
That's okay. Future. No, you're not drawing.
Isn't that the best way to do it? Draw your own?
Betty's not here. So Brenda's going to have to step up.
Thank you, Brenda.
Read aloud.
201.
Woo!
6.
Dang it.
2. 4.
Oh, 201624.
Redraw. Is that right?
That's me.
Betty's not even here.
I didn't draw it. You chose who to draw.
Did I say anything? Why am I the bad guy?
I'm not here.
I'm just disappointed that I didn't win. All right, thank you everyone for being here. We ran a little late today, but no worries. We do appreciate Brett coming by, 2-hour drive, man. So that was great. Do appreciate the talk. Appreciate everybody who came by today, and let's be safe on the way home, and we will catch you down the log. 73, everybody.